indemnity and contract of guarantee. Today, we will start with the third topic of first unit, and that is contract of agency. So contract of agency involves two persons. One is called as the agent and the other one is called as principal. So in contract of agency, an agent is a person employed to do any act for another or to represent another in dealing with the third person. The person for whom such act is done or who is represented is called principal. So the concept is very simple, and we all are aware of this, that what is the meaning of principal and what is the meaning of agent. So in simple words, we can say agent is the person who is working for his principal on salary or commission or brokerage or incentive, or it can be combination of all or combination of one or two items. So that is the agent. Principal is the person who appoints another person to do his acts with the third parties. So we have seen that agent is a person who is employed by another person, and agent is carrying out the activities of that person who has employed him. Similarly, principal is the person who appoints the agent to carry out his business activities for a salary, or it can be incentives, or it can be commission, or it can be combination of any 1, 2, 3 things. So that is called as principal and agent. Sorry. Now there are certain essential elements for contract of agency that we will be discussing. First one, agreement between principal and agent. A person who is of age of majority can become a principal. Same is the case with agent also. So we have seen in contract of guarantee as well as in contract act, when we were discussing essential elements of a valid contract, that what is age of majority. For a particular business, if the law has prescribed some age of majority, say 21 years, 20 years, 18 years, 25 years, 30 years, whatever the age has been prescribed in a law. When a person attains that age, then we can say the person has now become a major, and now the person can enter into a contract in that particular field. So both the parties, that is agent and the principal, shall be major, then only there can be a contract of agency. It cannot happen if either the principal or the agent is minor. Then there will be no contract of agency, or even if it is created between principal and agent, it will not be considered valid in the eyes of law. Second one, agent is only a connecting link between his principal and the third party. He is not bound personally by his act performed on behalf of his principal. As in the definition we have just discussed, that agent is a person who is working on behalf of his principal. He is working on the instructions of his principal. Principal has given him certain instructions that you need to do a particular thing and you need to follow these particular instructions for completing that particular task. So what the agent is doing, agent is only following the instructions of his principal. So for anything, if because of that instruction any loss happens to the third party, agent shall not be held responsible. But who should be held responsible here? Principal should be held responsible by the third party. Why? Because agent is only the connecting link. He is bringing two parties together. He is entering into contract with the third party on behalf of his principal, on the instruction of the principal. He has not created any terms and condition in the contract, but all the terms and conditions are created by the principal, and these terms and conditions are conveyed by the agent to the third party. And when the third party is satisfied with those terms and conditions, the third party signs the contract. So the contract will be between third party and the principal. Here, agent is playing just a connecting link, bringing two parties on a common platform and entering into a contract. So that is why it is said that he is not to be held liable for all the legal activities carried out on the instructions of his principal. So that is the second point. And the third point is principal should confer authority on his agent to act for him. Whenever the agent is entering into a contract with the third party on behalf of his principal, the agent should have that authority to enter into the contract with the third party on behalf of his principal. If the principal has not given that authority to the agent, then if the agent still enters into the contract with the third party, at that moment, here agent will be held liable, but the principal will not be held liable. Why? Because agent was carrying out the activities beyond his authority. He was not authorized by the principal to go to the third party and enter into a contract on behalf of the principal. Still, if the agent goes to the third party and makes the third party believe that he is carrying out this activity on behalf of his principal, then here principal is not responsible, agent is responsible. Why? Because he is going beyond his authority. So that is why it is said that principal should confer. Confer means give authority on the agent to act for him. Now we will see there are some types of agents. Under law, they have been categorized as various types of agents. So who these agents are or what these types mean, that we will be discussing one by one. So very simple types are there. Most of the agents type you can just find out from their name itself. If you know the meaning of that term, rest is very simple. Now, first classification of agent is spatial agent. So, spatial agent, very simple. So a agent who is appointed by the principal to carry out a special activity on his behalf with the third party, that type of agent is called as spatial agent. A wanted to sell his house to Mr. B. So he approaches Mr. C, who is into this business of selling property. And he he authorizes Mr. C to sell his house to Mr. B. So this, for this special purpose only, Mr. A, who is now known as principal, has appointed Mr. C, who is dealing in property related business, for selling his house to Mr. B. So that is, for special occasion he has been appointed. Once this is over, once the house is sold, there is no relation between Mr. C and Mr. A. That is Mr. Agent and Mr. Principal. Why? Because for a special occasion, the services of the agent were hired by the principal. Once that occasion is over, once that activity is done, once that business is completed, then there is no existence of contract of agency between the principal and the agent, and that is the meaning of स्पेशल एजेंट. जब किसी एजेंट का अपॉइंटमेंट प्रिंसिपल के द्वारा किसी स्पेशल काम के लिए किया जाता है, जब वो काम खत्म हो गया तो वहां पर एजेंसी भी खत्म होगा. एम आई ऑडिबल टू ऑल? Okay, thank you. Now next one is general agent. Now general agent is a person who is appointed by the principal to carry out his business activity for a particular period, for 1 year, for 2 years, for 1 month, for 2 months, for 6 months, for 6 years, for 10 years. So that is called as general agent. Next one is universal agent. Now universal, the name itself says that a agent who is employed, who is hired, who is appointed by the principal and who is given unlimited authority is called as universal agent. Special agents for special occasion, general agent to carry out the day-to-day business activity of the principal, which is general in nature. Now universal agent are those agent who enjoy universal power. Universal power means unlimited power. कितना पावर है एजेंट को? जितना कि प्रिंसिपल के पास पावर है उतना ही पावर इस टाइप के एजेंट के पास होता है. बाकी टाइप्स में इतना पावर कभी भी नहीं होता. प्रिंसिपल कैरीज मोर वेटेज as compared to the agent because he is the appointing authority and he is supposed to give the instructions and the agent is supposed to carry out those instructions on behalf of the principal. So here we can say that there is always an imbalance of power. Principal is always considered as more powerful than the agent, but there is an exception and that exception lies in universal agent. Whenever a person is appointed as a universal agent, we can say that that particular agent carries the authority, the power of principal himself or herself. You might have heard the word power of attorney. What is power of attorney? Can anybody tell me what is power of attorney? Very simple, and everybody is aware of. In serials, in movies, we
Yes, power
normally
of
hear
attorney
this.
is the document who have all access of the that property or that legal document.
Very good. Of the principal, right?
Yes.
Huh. Very good. So when complete authority is given to a agent by the principal, that you can sign on all the documents on my behalf, that is called as unlimited power. In normal cases, when the principal is not able to sign a particular document, he will authorize that for this particular document only the agent can sign because of some circumstances. We can say because of some medical reasons, or the principal is not well, or the due date for signing that document is coming to an end. So on that occasion only the principal gives the authority to the agent to sign that document. Normally, it is only for that occasion. But universal agent is an agent where complete authority is given to the agent, and that is happens only when power of attorney is given by the principal in the name of the agent, that I will not be there. Suppose the principal is having business in India, and because of some reason he has to leave India for 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months. Now, as because of some special occasion or special reason, the principal will not be reachable to the organization or to his people. He has given a power of attorney to the agent, to his manager, one of the managers, that on my behalf you can sign all the documents. No need to contact me before signing the document. No need to take my oral or written permission before signing the document. That is called as power of attorney, and that is called as universal agent. These type of agent are very rare in existence. बहुत ही कम रहते हैं इस टाइप के एजेंट. बाकी टाइप्स के आपको बहुत सारे एजेंट मिलेंगे, पर यूनिवर्सल type of agent is a type where you will find very rare existence, क्योंकि कभी भी इतनी ज्यादा पावर कोई भी किसी को नहीं देता है. So that is the meaning of universal agent. Now, co-agent. Now, co-agent is a type of agent who is not appointed by the principal. He is a agent who is appointed himself or herself. Now, principal has appointed the agent to carry out his activity. Now, if the agent feels that the activities which he or she is supposed to carry out on behalf of his principal are too many, and it becomes difficult for him to complete all the activities and report to the principal. So what he can do is that if he feels that he should employ one more person but he should employ who? The agent. And if the agent employs another person who will be reporting to the agent and not to the principal, then that type of agent will be called as co-agent. Now next is substitute agent. Sorry, that type of agent is called as sub-agent, not co-agent. Co-agent is an agent who is appointed by the principal. Co means more than one. When the agent principal feels that it is not possible for one agent to carry out the business activities, and if he decides to appoint one more, that type of agent will be called as co-agent. When we talk about sub-agent, sub-agent is an agent who is appointed by the original agent to assist him, not to assist directly the principal. So that is called as sub-agent. Now substitute agent. So substitute agent, as the name itself says, that he is also called as a replacement agent. He is replacing the agent. So substituting the agent. So that is why it is called as substitute agent. In football, in hockey, and in other sports, we normally see that there is substitution. One player goes out and on his place another player comes in to play the game. So that is known as substitution. Here also the same thing happens, that one person, one agent is replaced by another agent. He is substituted by the another agent, and that is called as substitute agent. Now substitute agent, again, he is an agent who is appointed by the principal. All the types of agents are appointed by the agent except sub-agent, because sub-agent is an agent who is appointed by the original agent and not by the principal. Now next one is factors. Now factor is a type of agent who sells the products or articles or items on behalf of his principal. He is known as one of the type of mercantile agent. He gets the delivery of the product or items to be sold from the principal, and he sells those items to the third party or customers on his name, not in the name of his principal, but he sells those items on his name, and later on he collects the money also in his name, and whatever has been fixed between him and the principal, he gives that amount to the principal for those items, and he keeps the profit with him. And that type of mercantile agent is called as factor. Now, that suppose a cloth store is there.
Oh, sorry to interrupt, sir. Is it a merchandise or mercantile?
Mercantile agent.
What it is means?
Mercantile means the products which can be sold in the market. A person who is dealing in those type of activities is called as mercantile agent. Suppose selling of goods, we can say electronic item, that seller will also be called as mercantile agent. A person who is selling, say, other type of finished products, or
Okay.
home decor product, that person will also be called as mercantile agent,
Okay.
right?
Got it.
Yes. So factors are those who are selling the product of a particular principal, but who are selling on their terms and conditions, and whatever has been agreed between the principal and factor type of agent, that is shared with the principal, rest profit is kept by the agent, and that type of agent is called as factor. Next is very simple, everyone is aware of, and that is called as brokers. Normally these type of agents are or they deal in brokerage, or normally these type of agents are employed in stock exchange. So these people are also called as brokers. Next one, auctioneers. Now, auctioneers, again, everyone is aware of, agent who is appointed by the principal for auctioning his products, his items, or his articles is called as auctioneer. Auctioneer is a person who specializes in auctioning products. Again, there are certain rules and regulations which are to be followed for doing auction. We cannot appoint any person for auctioning purpose. For doing the auctioning, the person should have knowledge about that, and there are certain rules and regulations which are to be followed. Then only the person can be appointed as a auctioneer. So a person, if he is appointed to carry out auction on behalf of the principal, that type of agent will be called as auctioneer. Next one, commission agent. Generally these type of agents, we all know that these type of agents deal in real estate business. These agents, they are working on commission basis. Next one is called as Dell Creeder agent. Now these type of agents who are called as Dell Creeder agent, these type of agent normally they work on a very heavy commission. Why they work on heavy commission? Because they give guarantee to the principal that your amount will be deposited in your account within a particular period of time. Suppose the principal has some articles or some products which he wants to sell to the third party, and those items or articles, they are costly in nature, and it takes time in selling those products, and to get the immediate delivery or immediate money for the selling that particular product, if the principal appoints a person who promises him or who gives him a guarantee that you give me this much of commission, this much of incentive, or this much of money, and I guarantee that I will sell this product and I will give you this much of amount within a particular time. एक महीने में मैं आपका ये प्रोडक्ट सेल कर दूंगा, और आपको जो प्रॉमिस था, जो आपकी जरूरत है, जो आपने बताया है 5 लाख 10 लाख, वो आपको 10 दिन में, 5 दिन में, 2 दिन में, 1 महीने में आपके अकाउंट में मिल जाएंगे। पर उसके लिए मेरा कमीशन 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 इतना होगा। अगर ये दोनों के बीच में डील हो जाता है तो दैट टाइप ऑफ एजेंट विल बी कॉल्ड एज Dell Creeder agent. So an agent who guarantees that the product, if he is selling to a third party, he is guaranteeing the money also, that I will make sure that the third party pays. If the third party is unable, I take the guarantee that I will be paying you the entire amount. If that type of agent is employed, then that type of agents are called as Dell Creeder agent. They generally they are hired for heavy commissions. Why they are hired for heavy commission? Because the risk involved in that particular business is more, and if more risk is involved, automatically more commission the principal has to pay, or the more charges the principal has to pay. Next one is called as forwarding agent, and then we have clearing agent. So forwarding agents are the agents who are involved in exports of product, and clearing agents are those agents who are involved in import of products. So the person who is into exports of product is called as forwarding agent, and the person who is called as who is involved in importing of certain products is called as clearing agent. Now the job of these agents are that, suppose Mr. A wants to sell mangoes to, say, Saudi Arabian country or a European country or some foreign country. Now for selling mangoes, he has to comply the rules and regulations of not only India but also the country where he wants to export his mangoes. So suppose if US, the compliance may be different from India, the terms and conditions may be strict. When we talk about US, it may be more strict if we talk about Saudi Arabian countries. So Mr. A may not have the knowledge of those rules and regulations. He may not be aware of that how many documents he need to sign for completing that particular process of export of mangoes to American countries or to the Arabian countries. So at that time, if he is taking the help of the persons who generally carried out these activities on day-to-day basis, then we can say that he has appointed a clearing agent in case of import and forwarding agent in case of exports. Same is the case with imports also. The rules and regulation for importing product from other countries. From Asian countries, rules may be different. From the European countries, rules may be different. From Arabian countries, rules may be different. So the person should have a thorough knowledge of those rules, then only he can complete that process. So for that, if Mr. A is not aware of import procedures, but he want to say he is involved in the business of, say, imported watches, and if he is taking the help of a person who knows very well, or whose day-to-day job is to do the clearance at the customs, then that person can be called as clearing agent in case of imports, and forwarding agent in case of exports. Now the last one is called as indenting agent. Now indenting agent is a type of agent who is appointed by a principal to carry out his business activity in some other country, and that particular agent is called as indenting agent. Now Mr. A is having a business in India. Now Mr. A has also started his business in Canada. But now it is not possible for Mr. A to concentrate on both the business activities in India as well as in Canada. His Canadian venture he has just started, and in India he is having a vast business. So it becomes difficult for Mr. A to concentrate on this vast business in India as well as the new venture which he has just started in Canada. So to look after that Canadian venture, if Mr. A appoints an agent who is a Canadian national, then that type of agent who is taking care of business of a person in another country, that type of agent will be called as indenting agent. So these were some of the types of agents which you should be aware of. Now we will talk about that what are the rights of principal and what are the duties of principal. We will also be discussing about the rights of agent and rights of and the duties of agents too. So first we will start with rights of an agent towards his principal. The simple rights are there of the agent towards his principal. Then there are certain duties also of an agent towards his principal. So first we will talk about the rights. Rights means अधिकार. क्या अधिकार है प्रिंसिपल के सॉरी एजेंट के प्रिंसिपल के So first one, right to do all the lawful things. Very simple. Lawful things means right to carry out the business activity of principal in lawful manner. That is his right of the principal towards his right of the agent towards his principal to carry out lawful things. Next is very important, and that is called as right in emergency. Now here we have to see that the word emergency means that a situation where although the agent is not authorized to take decision, but to save the principal from future losses, in the good faith of principal, in some emergency situation, if the agent takes decision or goes beyond his authority conferred by the principal, and if it is proved that yes, he has gone beyond the authority for the benefit of his principal, at that time we can say that the agent has done it in the good faith, and that act is to be accepted by the principal. वहां पर प्रिंसिपल ये नहीं बोल सकता कि मैंने आपको ये अधिकार ही नहीं दिया था तो आपने जो भी किया है अपने अधिकार से ऊपर जाकर, तो इसके लिए मैं रिस्पॉन्सिबल नहीं हूं। अगर ये प्रूव हो जाता है कि अधिकार को क्रॉस किस लिए किया, अपने राइट्स को क्रॉस किस लिए किया एक एजेंट ने, अगर ये प्रूव हो जाता है कि वो उसने जो क्रॉस किया वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ अपने प्रिंसिपल को नुकसान से बचाने के लिए किया, then we can say that yes, here the principal has to accept this decision taken by the agent. Now for example, now the principal is dealing with perishable products. He is a person who deals with fresh vegetable and dairy products. He collects these products from one place and he delivers or sells those products in some other place, at some other place. Now to carry out this activity, his business activity, the principal has appointed an agent. Now agent's job is that he has to collect all the dairy products and fresh vegetable from particular fixed vendors, and he has to sell it in the marketplace which is situated from 100 which is the difference is of say 100 kilometers or 200 kilometers from one city. He need to collect the items, and in another city he has to sell that. That is what the authority of an agent is. Now on one occasion, when the goods were in transit, that means the the dairy products and fresh vegetables were collected by the agent, and the truck was moving towards the destination, that is towards the another city, and at a particular place the truck got some technical problem, or there was some problem with the engine of the truck, and when the agent checked with the driver informed the agent that it is not possible for him to start the truck. He has to get the mechanic, and then only they can start the truck and they can go to the marketplace in another city. And this particular thing, that is searching for a mechanic, then getting the mechanic, and then the mechanic will do the repairs of the truck, it may take 6 hours, 7 hours, or a complete day also. And as the truck is full of perishable products, the agent tries to contact the principal because he wants to brief about this problem to his principal. But the principal is not reachable. His phone is not reachable. His another phone, he tries his another phone also, but that another phone again is switched off. So for some time continuously the agent is trying to get in touch with his principal to brief him about the problem which he is currently facing. Now when after number of attempts the principal is not reachable, the agent takes a decision that he will sell all the vegetable and the dairy product at a lower price also, but he will make sure that all the items are sold on that particular day itself. Why? Because the items are perishable. If it is not sold on that day, all the vegetables or dairy items will get spoiled, and it will be a huge loss for his principal. To save his principal from that huge loss, he sells those items at a lower price, because when he tried to sell those products at items at that particular price which he normally used to sell in the another city, he saw that people were not ready to purchase those products. So he lowered the price and he sold everything. So comparatively, the profit were less, but he was able to save the principal from the huge loss. Next day, when the agent informed his principal about all these things, then in this scenario, the principal has to accept this act of agent as if it was authorized by the principal himself. Here, he cannot reject this act. Here, he cannot compel the agent to pay for the loss in the profit that has occurred because of that selling of the products at a lower price. जो भी 1,000 रुपए, 10,000 रुपए, 1 लाख रुपए का जो भी लॉस हुआ है उसे, 5 लाख रुपए का माल था, 4 लाख रुपए में बेचा, मतलब 1 लाख रुपए कमाए। 1 लाख रुपए अब ये जो प्रिंसिपल है वो उससे वसूल नहीं कर सकता। क्यों नहीं कर सकता? अगर ये प्रूव हो जाए कि ये जो भी एजेंट ने किया है ये सिर्फ और सिर्फ गुड फेथ में किया है, प्रिंसिपल को नुकसान से बचाने के लिए किया है, इफ इट इज प्रूव, देन वी कैन से दैट हिज एक्ट ऑल्दो was unauthorized, still it has to be authorized by the principal later on. Earlier it was unauthorized, but when it is proved that it was done in good faith and it was done to save the losses to the principal, then it has to be ratified, it has to be sanctioned, it has to be approved by the principal, and that is called as right in emergency. Even if the principal goes to the court and if the court is convinced that why this agent has exceeded his authority, and if the agent is able to prove that he took the decision of selling the products at lesser price just to save the person, because there was a technical problem, the AC in the that particular van or truck has stopped working, there was the engine problem in the truck, and it was known that for one day it will take at least one day to repair the AC and the engine, and for that particular reason, if it is proved that he has taken the decision, then the court will inform the principal that this will be categorized under the right of emergency, which is possessed by the agent towards his principal, and that is the right of emergency. Next one, the right to appoint sub-agent or substitute agent. Now here, as we have discussed, sub-agent is an agent who is appointed by the original agent. It is not an agent who is appointed by the principal. So that is why he will be reporting to the main agent or original agent. Now, when we talk about substitute agent, whenever the original agent is replacing himself with another agent, it is expected that the another agent who is being replaced with original agent shall also carry out the business in the same manner which the original agent was carrying out. Next one, right to renounce the agency. The word renounce means right to leave the agency, छोड़ देना agency को, and that is the meaning of renounce. Right to renounce his agency. There is a right which is available to the agent that if he is not satisfied with the terms and condition of his principal, if he feels that the principal is not properly paying him or he is underpaid, at that moment the agent is having a right that he can renounce the agency, he can he can call off the agency, or he can leave the agency. That he can contact the principal whatever with whatever terms and conditions, that 1 month notice is to be given, or 15 days notice is to be given, or 14 days notice is to be given. That should be followed, and a proper notice should be sent to the principal that because of so and so reason I want to leave the agency from this date. Here the principal cannot force him that as you were appointed for a period of 2 years, you cannot leave the agency in between. If the reasons are genuine, if the reasons are valid, if the reasons are proved in the court of law, then yes, agent can renounce the agency. Before also and after, yes, he is having right. For 1 year, the agency, the contract of agency was created between the agent and the principal. Once the 1 year is over, and if the now he can leave the agency. Now it is up to the agent to continue again with the principal or to leave the agency. Next one, right to receive compensation for premature revocation. Premature, we all know the meaning of what is the meaning of premature, and we are also aware of the meaning of revocation. Premature means before the agreed period of time. If the agency is created between the agent and the principal, if that contract is created for a period of 6 months, it is expected that it should be continued for a period of 6 months. All of a sudden, without any valid justification, without any valid reason, if the principal decides or he terminates the agency or the appointment of the agent, then the agent is having a right to receive the compensation for premature revocation. Revocation is cancellation. 6 महीने के लिए कॉन्ट्रैक्ट था एजेंट और प्रिंसिपल के बीच में. अगर प्रिंसिपल बिना किसी वैलिड रीजन के जो कोर्ट में एक्सेप्ट हो, ऐसे किसी भी रीजन के अलावा अगर वो एजेंट का जो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है वो समय से पहले अगर खत्म करता है, तो यहाँ पर एजेंट को ये अधिकार है कि उसे उसका मुआवजा मिलना चाहिए. So that is called as premature revocation. Again, that is one of the right of agent towards his principal. Next one, right of retainer. Again, if we know the meaning of retainer, rest is very simple. Retainer means whatever he is in the possession of the agent. Now, agent was appointed by the principal to sell certain articles, certain items. and it was promised by the principal that he will be paying the agent on monthly basis on a particular salary. After completion of a month, when the salary is due for the agent, and without any valid reason, if the principal is not paying the salary of the agent, at that moment the agent is having a right of, and that right is right to retain the items of the principal. He can retain those items कि ठीक है, अगर आप मेरी सैलरी नहीं दे रहे तो मैं ये जो आइटम्स हैं इसको अपनी पोजीशन में रखूंगा जब तक आप मुझे अपनी सैलरी नहीं देते. बट ऑल दीज थिंग्स हैव टू बी प्रूव्ड इन द कोर्ट ऑफ लॉ. अगर गलत तरीके से पोजीशन में रखा गया है तो इट इज अगेंस्ट लॉ. एनीथिंग विच इज अगेंस्ट लॉ इज अगेंस्ट द राइट्स ऑल्सो. अधिकार दिए गए हैं पर अधिकार का प्रयोग हम लोग गलत तरीके से नहीं कर सकते. यहाँ पर एजेंट ये नहीं बोल सकता I have a right of possession, right to retain the items, so I am retaining these items. When the principal is able to prove in the court of law that because of this problem I was unable to credit the salary of the agent within this particular period of time, and if the court is satisfied that yes, the justification is genuine and it is acceptable, then here he cannot, the agent cannot claim the right of retaining. What's the time now?
Sorry,
Am I audible?
It's 8 o'clock.
It's how much is remaining?
Sir, it's 8 o'clock.
Acha, already it's 8. So we will stop here. So the remaining right of lion on principal's priority, right of indemnification for lawful acts, and right to be indemnified against the consequences of all the acts done in good faith, that we will be discussing in next lecture. So thank you everyone for being present in today's session. So before we wind up the session, just a very important announcement. We had called students, some of the students who have not yet submitted all their original documents in the college. So all those students are requested to submit it immediately, because very shortly, that is in this week itself, we will be getting the second date for the physical document verification. So around 50 students are there who have not submitted all the original documents in the college. So those students are requested to submit these documents immediately. Otherwise, please be sure that their admission is on hold. We have at the institute level, everything is confirmed, but we are talking about physical verification of documents at the government level. Department of Technical Education of Government of Maharashtra conducts the physical verification of each and every document of the student, and those students who are unable to submit all the original documents, their admission will be at stake. So please communicate to your friends group also. Thank you everyone.